G'day punters, already round 16 of AFL action. Where has the season gone? The great man Shane Crawford, he gave us a winning best bet last week and he reckons he's got one up his sleeve this week, an ace similar to the movie scene from Rounders. So join us as we go inside 50. Hello punters, welcome to Tab's Inside 50. Nick, Quinn and Shane Crawford here looking at all the big topics in footy. And Crawford, let's look back to look forward. Collingwood lost last week, will they still be flag contenders?
Yes, very much so. Sometimes you just have a bad week. They had a bad week. They can bounce back against the Hawks, but it's going to be a pretty tough game because I've got a feeling the Hawks are going to be right in it. So I think they can get back on track. Yes, they can still have premiership glory and there's still a long way to go in the season.
Two teams that got the 4 points last week to keep their finals chances alive, Essendon and North Melbourne. The Bombers now $1.90 to play finals footy. Will they be doing so?
I don't think so. I still don't trust Essendon, so I'd say a no. And North Melbourne, I haven't seen a team play so well this year like North Melbourne did last week. I still think they won't make the finals. So both those teams are no for me for this year 2019 final series.
There we go. A little look at some of the wins and losses from last week going forward. Now we move on to the big games this week. South Australia and Western Australia, they stand still for these fixtures. First up, we'll take a look at the game in South Australia between the Crows and the Power. What are your early thoughts?
Well, what do you do with the Power at the moment? Seriously. They dropped one against the Bulldogs. They were sensational against Geelong the week before. Adelaide's first half against Geelong was really, really good, and I think that's good enough form to get them across the line. Although these two go at each other, I think it's going to be a line ball, but I think the Crows can just sneak across the line.
Any early bet types for the medal winner?
I'd just go the Crouch brothers because it doubles your chance. Just take a pick.
And, you know, they love finding the footy, those two. Now, the big one in the West, the Eagles, they're starting to grow momentum and Fremantle very poor last week.
Really like this as a betting match because I think you're going to get some great value and I reckon Fremantle are definitely in this match. I think they can win Fremantle and cause a massive upset. If not, Fremantle at the line, I think's a nice little play. Brad Hill for the medal, the running machine. Or Fife, who's never won it before. Lachie Neale used to win it all the time. He's not there. So Fife might stand up after being embarrassed last week at losing to the Blues in the dying minutes.
There we go, some value for the game in the West. We move on to my favourite segment, the bin or win. You like it, it's a win. You don't, we'll turf it in the bin. And you've been on Sydney Stack from day one. Can he kick a goal in both half against the Suns?
Well, the rising star for 2019.
Runner-up, maybe.
Well, he's on his way. Can he kick a goal? No, they're playing Gold Coast. I'll say into the bin. No, because I reckon everyone at Richmond will be kicking goals this weekend.
So that's a bin?
That's a bin.
OK, Jack Siebel, he's been tremendous for the Kangaroos this season. Will he have 25 or more disposals and kick a goal against St Kilda?
Bin, he'll definitely kick some goals, but I'm not sure he'll get 25 plus possessions just because they might use him in the forward line a bit more than the midfield.
Blues to cover the line against Melbourne, currently 17.5.
Bin. Don't trust the Blues coming back from Perth after having a good win, especially a young group. You can feel good about yourself. And the Ds, they're going to be desperate. They have to win. If they lose this, look out. Might be another coach sacked.
Ooh, big call there from Shane Crawford. Now, the winning Underdogs, you've done brilliantly for this segment this season. You threw us just a little bit of bait with the Dockers. We're going to take the reel here.
We're going to go the Dockers, yes. I just think they can really shut down the ground. I think the focus mentally this week will be really good because they were embarrassed last week. So I reckon we're going to get game on Fremantle and West Coast. So Fremantle for me are my roughies.
OK, there we go. The Dockers to cause the upset and take down their biggest rivals, the West Coast Eagles. Now, we've got a fascinating game coming up with GWS up against Brisbane and arguably the best full forward versus arguably the best full back in the competition at the moment. Harris Andrews trying to stop Jeremy Cameron. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, Jeremy Cameron will still kick a few goals because that's just the way Brisbane play. They pull the trigger and then they go. So he's going to need some help down there. But Harris Andrews is so important for the Brisbane Lions. He would be clearly the best defender going around. So I think this is definitely something you want to sit back and just watch these two go at a bit because I reckon for the next 10 years, these two are going to duel against each other and it's just going to be two of the greats.
And we probably don't talk about those two players as much as we should because they're in interstate teams. Now, we finished the show with a bang. We're 5 goals up. We're kicking with the win. You've got the footy. Slot one through the middle.
Well, it's Tiger time.
Yes.
It's Tiger time. They are playing Gold Coast up at the Gold Coast. Although they haven't had a big win since round one. They haven't won by over 40 points. This week, they'll get it done because a lot of their senior players have had one game back, second game to really get some momentum. They need percentage. And I think the Tigers will have a very, very good win against the Gold Coast. Might be tied early, but it'll blow out and the Tigers will really put their foot down.
Yeah, Richmond has won by 40 points or more just once this season.
Include that in all your multis. I think it's 220 on the tab odds for the Tigers to win by 40 plus.
And the Suns may be getting a little weary. I'm going to go a multi after last week's debacle. Try and bounce back here. I think West Coast will be too good, so I'm taking you on there. Throw in North and GWS. May your bets be winning bets, and join us next week on Inside 50.